spouses should support one another to do the right thing and be their best. Spouses should support one another to do the right thing and be their best. Give me Matthew 27. Look at verse 18 and 19. Matthew 27, 18 and 19. For he knew they had handed him over because of envy. You see, Pilate even concluded that the chief priests did everything, all this because of what? Envy. While he was sitting on the judgment seat, that's Pilate, his wife sent to him, saying, have nothing to do with this just man, for I have suffered many things today in a dream because of him. As a wife, she didn't sit down unconcerned. She knocked the door, came to Pilate and said, hey, watch out and be careful the decisions you are going to take about this man. I have suffered so much in the night, but I would like you to be conscious of what you are doing. This was a spouse who was seeking the well-being of the husband. This was a spouse who didn't just sit down to watch the husband slide into trouble. My admonition to you, as husband and wife, help one another become better in life. Let me say that again. As husband and wife, help one another become better in life. When the person is doing something which is wrong, have the grace and the ability to confront the error. Don't sit down and say, well, that is what he says he wants to do. When he gets into crisis, it's going to affect all of you. Don't sit down. Get involved. Get involved in the dream of your husband. And as a wife, get involved in the dream of your husband and push the agenda forward if it's a good idea. As a husband, get involved in the dream of your wife and push the idea. Recently, you heard of the unfortunate domestic violence of this wonderful lady in Nigeria, a woman whose ministry has blessed Africa and blessed the world. When I heard of those crises, I heard of the incident, I only just said he was married to a boy, not a man. He was married to a boy who felt insecure in life, who felt threatened by the popularity of the wife, couldn't handle the success of the wife, couldn't handle the popularity and the ministry of the woman. And he felt threatened. And he thought that if that was the case, he was just going to do everything to crush and destroy the ministry of the woman. Listen, all fingers are not equal. God will bring a spouse into your life. God will bring a partner into your life to help you to achieve a goal and to become better in life. We have too many boys who have gone into marriage and are not just ready for marriage. The fact that you are a male does not make you a man. The fact that you are a male does not make you a man. Are you hearing me? The fact that you have some balls doesn't make you a man. Somebody shall preach. There are too many boys misbehaving because they are not sure of who they are. Real men are not threatened by the success of their wives. Real men are never threatened when they see their wives, taking up the center stage of life and doing so well. Real men are not threatened. Real men support the vision and the dream of their women to go better, to go higher. Real men support the dreams of their wives. It takes only the boys to fight the success of their wives. Question, are you a boy or a man? Are you a boy or a man? We have all those kind of domestic violence. If you are a guy here and married and you can lift up your hand on your wife, you're a boy. You are not yet a man. You scream and you shout and you want to molest your wife and what have you. You are a boy. It is not every relationship you should spend the rest of your life in. It's not every relationship you should spend the rest of your life in when it is toxic, especially when life is being threatened. In the name of what God has put together, let no man put asunder. When life is being threatened, we will put asunder. When life is being threatened, we will put asunder. This nonsense must stop. Somebody shout, this nonsense must stop. Sometimes as a church, we have also faltered in these areas. And sometimes as pastors, we have messed up. Just because we say, well, you know what God has put together, let no man put asunder. And then the woman is suffering. The woman is suffering until finally somebody dies. Then what are you going to do? Going to bury the person? They say, oh, if we had known, if you had, but the signs were showing. The signs were evident. Yet the elders and the pastor say it doesn't matter, for the sake of the children. For the sake of the children, get out. If your life is under threat, get out. I've told my leaders as a church, we are going to strengthen the policy along that line. If the life is under threat, somebody's life is under threat, whether the man's life is under threat or the woman's life is under threat as a church, we will do everything to help you through counseling. But if we realize that one life is under serious threat, we will help you to separate. And on the day of separation, we will bring the police. We will get 1 or 2 elders to visit the home and to supervise the woman parking. And if the woman wouldn't have a place, to rent, the church will help the person to settle down. We will do that. It will be better to do that to save a life than to bury one. Are you hearing me? Somebody shall preach. Because we have too many boys around, hanging around and molesting women just because they are threatened by the success of the women. And of course, there are some men who are also suffering in silence. There are some men, they are suffering in silence. And they need to be bailed out. Are you hearing me? Have you wondered why in the book of Kings, a woman came to Elisha and said, one of your employees has died, has 2 children, left so much huge debt. And the creditors have come to the house, 1, to sell the house, 2, to get the children. And now we are miserable. What probably triggered the death of this pastor? What probably triggered the death of this man? Could it be there was so much pressure from the woman that the man just couldn't handle? And that the man had to probably live beyond his means and always have to borrow because nothing satisfies the woman. Nothing will pleasure her. So he had to go all the way, borrowing and borrowing and borrowing just to make this woman happy until finally he had to die out of pressure and BP. He died with huge debt because he was suffering in silence and nobody could come to his rescue until finally he passed away. Too many marriages are suffering. Too many marriages are under attack. The church must redesign its package of helping the home to be secured and a peaceful home. The church must really get involved and help the home because too many people are suffering in silence. They can't talk because of where they are coming from and because of the position perhaps they occupy in life. The lesson we are sharing here is that spouses should be able to help one another to achieve a goal.